2, 1.
What's good, everyone? Back, big episode. Missed last week. Ryan was at a golf outing today. He's feeling himself a little bit. Missed last week.
Yeah,
last week
at 4:00.
Last week, huge news. We're just gonna jump right into it, though. Huge news. Everyone knows Texas and Oklahoma kind of broke the college football world. It's nice that late July there's some topics to talk about, but Texas and Oklahoma, they announced that they're leaving the Big 12 and they're gonna put their proposal in to join the SEC. Today it was confirmed that they told the Big 12 that. Now they still do have to technically get accepted, and they have to get, I don't know how many votes it is, but I'm pretty sure it's like if 4 teams say no, it's a no. So it's not that many people have to say no. Like, it's pretty slim.
Well, A&M for sure.
No, I thought the same thing.
Oh,
A&M, I guess, they're one of the teams that helped them do it.
Oh, like, really? I thought they would be against it.
That's what I thought too, but I guess A&M helped them get in the doors with the SEC. Missouri, though, Missouri's probably a hard no. But all right, so a lot to unwrap on this one. Texas, Oklahoma.
Before we get too far, Mike, we could probably talk about this the entire hour. This is a really deep topic.
What do you want to talk about before?
No, I'm just saying, we could talk about football, but I'm just talking about the specific Texas and Oklahoma topic. This is a really, I can go about this for a long time.
Yeah, that's what I said. This is the whole episode today.
Yeah.
I thought you said you had a different topic. Wait, look at the text I just sent you guys.
I did look at that.
Did you guys see this today on Twitter?
Yes, and it's actually not that.
That's really good.
Yes,
if that were to happen. Okay,
so Texas, Oklahoma joining the SEC, probably going to happen. Missouri and maybe one other team might be the only 2 teams who vote no. It'll SEC is already king in football, but it'll make them the richest conference by a bunch.
Because they'll get the Longhorn Network money.
Yes. So
yeah,
let's start with this. Do you like the move for college football? Yes or no, and why?
Yes, if more teams start to just go to different conferences. No, if the SEC is just a powerhouse. Okay, it can't happen until 2025 is the first season, correct?
Unless they buy out.
No, yeah, they could buy out.
They could buy out.
It's going to be as early as next year.
I guess my biggest thing is because now, say it happens in the next, it won't be this year, but say it's 2 years from now, and then you have Oklahoma, Florida, Bama, all these teams in the SEC. There's going to be teams then that are getting screwed then for the college football playoff. Essentially, because
the new format will come into play in 3 years.
I guess there's a couple seasons it's going to be still just 4 teams.
It'll be 1 season though.
Yeah. In the long run, I think it's a good thing, but for the next couple seasons, it could be kind of finicky.
To that point, so it's $80 million for them to leave right now. That's so they could join the 2022 season. I wonder if they stay in the 2022 season if it drops to $40 million.
Yeah.
Or because I don't think they're not gonna 2025. They're not waiting that long. Let's
the
just
14 playoff ends in 2024, correct?
Yeah, 2023 or 2024. Yes, but so I could see them maybe waiting until then, and maybe they stay in the Big 12 for 2 more seasons. But to your other point of if other teams start to do this, if Texas and Oklahoma leave, the Big 12 is not really a conference, so other teams are going to have to do this.
They're not even relevant then to have a team go for the playoff because no one in there is good enough to make it.
For the playoff, they're not a Power 5 conference either. Even not just playoff, no one there makes that much money and whatnot. But also another thing, the $80 million, Texas makes $190 million in revenue in football every year. So if they really wanted to, they have the money to fucking do it. Ryan, yes or no, do you like it for college football?
No, I don't. I'm a fan of if it's not broke, don't fix it. And when it comes to college football, I'm more of a traditionalist. and Oklahoma and Texas belong in the Big 12. They belong in the Red River rivalry in the Big 12. Whatever, I think that's in September during the Texas State Fair. And it just goes beyond the Big 12. It's like I like when Texas A&M and Texas played each other on Thanksgiving weekend. I think it was Friday night, Black Friday.
Yeah.
Maybe that is one bright spot of them going to the SEC. Maybe that can come back to life. That Black Friday night game.
I'm pretty sure someone in the SEC like talked to someone and they said if they do make the move, one of the like locked games, if they're not on the same side, will be Texas A&M every year. So I mean, that is, like you said, that is a positive that they will bring that back. But go on.
But this is just someone said this is just kind of the beginning of the super conference or whatever you want to call it. This is the beginning of the movement, which I agree with. But you've kind of seen it before, like Texas A&M going to the SEC, Missouri leaving the Big 12, West Virginia going to the Big 12. So you've seen this. You've seen it happening with smaller schools. I don't want to consider Texas A&M a smaller school, but Texas A&M isn't of the magnitude of Oklahoma and Texas, and this is the first of what could be a large shift in the college football world. So we'll see. Does Clemson go somewhere? I don't think so, but it doesn't. I mean,
do you think now with like athletes being paid, this has a huge factor of why they want to do it too?
So
No.
actually, Zach,
No, not at all. I don't think
that's actually interesting because I was actually trying to think of why especially Oklahoma, Texas go to the Pac-12, and I think they do just as good, probably worse than what they're doing in the Big 12 now. Texas is, to me,
but they're not making this move
right
for their record. They're making this move because they already earned the most revenue in a shitty conference with revenue, and if they go to the SEC with Oklahoma, they have it's like 7 of the top 10 teams in terms of revenue in college football. This is all about money.
I know. Yeah. I know.
Annually, like obviously you have the Oklahoma game, like that's the biggest game. But think of like if Texas played Alabama, Florida, Georgia, A&M again, like any of those teams, it's going to be insane. And like Zach said, the SEC gets the Longhorn Network, so for the SEC, it's a no-brainer. Like this is all about money. This has nothing to do with like nothing anybody does in college sports has anything to do with like, oh, we'll do better in this conference. Why would they go to the Pac-12? They would do nothing. All they would do is just win 10 games a year, maybe 9 or 8. They wouldn't make more money. They wouldn't come in anywhere near close. They'd be better off staying in the Big 12. Because if Texas said, no, we're staying in the Big 12, I don't think Oklahoma leaves either. Because Oklahoma and Texas are going to go with each other. As much as they might hate each other, they are linked together, and that's what they're going to do. So, like, Texas going to the Pac-12 would do nothing. Like, they still would probably lose to Oregon. They might get better because Pac-12 is way worse than the Big 12. But money, it's all about money, and that would not do really anything for them money-wise.
No, yeah, the money thing is an entirely different subject, but I just try to.
It's really not though.
I
just try to look at it from on the field.
Yeah, but that's
nobody. It's all driven because you want to make your athletic department money, and making this move for their athletic department is smarter for them to go.
Sure, I get it, but congrats, you still suck. I mean, from a fan's perspective,
it's not against like them sucking. It's more like we can fund way better now with this.
Yeah,
like you're seeing it as a fan.
I don't want to look at it any differently than that. Like, I don't need to look at it.
That's why they do it, though. That's why they do it.
I know why they do it, but from a fan's perspective, yeah, okay, I get it. If you're gonna suck, you might as well get paid doing it.
I mean, like, okay, like you are acting like Texas has been one of the worst 20 teams in college football. Like, they didn't win a Sugar Bowl 3 years ago.
Yeah,
like,
I understand.
They have won 8 or more games.
They act like they're a frequent flyer in the playoffs. They have this big old voice. I understand why they have a big voice, but
I mean, when you are the number one profit, number one market, number one revenue, like I think everyone would give you a voice. That'd be like saying like, the New York Yankees mean nothing to baseball. as bad as the Yankees have been lately, it doesn't matter. They're always going to be the number one in terms of market, in terms of money, in terms of everything. Like, that's like the Dallas Cowboys and the NFL. Like, when you drive money, it doesn't matter win or lose. And, like, let's not act like as much – like, Texas has been bad lately, but they are one of, like, only 6 teams to win a national championship in the last 20 years. Like, it is – you can turn around Texas very easily. Now, will Sarkisian do it? I don't know. Is it going to be way tougher for them in the SEC? 100%, because the conference is way tougher. But, like, I guarantee a lot more kids are going to be like, oh, dude, we get to go play Bama, Florida, all this.
They're going to want to go to Texas.
Oh, and they stay with Oklahoma, and they still play Texas A&M. It's like, who fucking cares about Texas Tech, Baylor? None of those guys are going to Texas to play Texas Tech or Baylor. Yeah, they get to play Bama and all them every time. And when they go, the new playoff will be a thing. So it's like in reality, that SEC, they will probably have so many teams in the playoffs because you can go 10-2, and that your schedule is insane anyways, and you're in the playoffs.
Yes, that is the one thing. That is looking back at why Oklahoma, kind of more Oklahoma than Texas, would be because of the new playoff system. Like, because if it was still 4-team, Oklahoma would make it once every.
Dude, I don't know. They're gonna win the Big 12 every year if they stay in the Big 12.
No, that's what he's saying. He's saying that he's saying with 14. Yeah, he's saying with 4 teams.
They'll have a chance to making the 12 team.
I agree.
Well, maybe they would make it if there was still a 4-team playoff. They maybe once every 8 to 10 years. But now, I mean, you could probably still make it every 2 or 3.
To that point, I don't think they make the move if it stayed a 14 playoff. Either of them. I don't think they even consider it. I think if that would have been voted no, if it stayed a 14 playoff, I don't think they make the move because, like, Oklahoma going to the Final Four every year, like, that's a fuck ton of money for your conference. So, like, and, like, as much as, like, we rip on Texas, they did have a chance, like, every once in a while would have a chance in the Big 12. They somehow beat Oklahoma and go undefeated. They're in the playoffs every single year. Now, it hasn't happened, but, like, you're telling me would you take that or go to the SEC and you have to go undefeated, play all these teams, and there's only very slim chance of you making it because there's 4 teams. Now you go to the 15-team playoff, and it's like, you know what? Some years teams might be 9-3 and be the 15th seed. So,
because the 12-team playoff, you would have had like 5 or 6 SEC teams last year.
Every year,
probably.
It's only gonna get worse because as much as like Oklahoma gets ripped on in the playoffs, like there's still a top 15 team every year. So like they're gonna make it. Yeah, so they're gonna make it. Like this, Ryan, to your point though about like you hate it because of the conferences and stuff. I totally agree with you. I can't stand this conference realignment. I can't stand how like I wish Missouri and like honestly though I kind of have like I wish Texas A&M still played Texas, but I kind of have like thought of Texas A&M with the SEC kind of now. But like I wish Missouri would go back to the Big 12. I wish Nebraska would go back to the Big 12. I wish Colorado. I think Colorado can stay in the Pac-12, but I think West Virginia should go to the ACC. And honestly, like I think Notre Dame should join the Big 10, not the ACC, which they probably would join the ACC though because they have a lot of ties and whatnot. But I think they should join the Big 10. But also to this point, like it kind of like to the super conferences, it 100% is going to just be super conferences now because all these other conferences are now going to be reaching for more money. And on top of that, like we stated earlier, the Big 12 is squashed now. Like it's fucked.
Oh, it's done.
Without those 2 teams, it's fucked. Like Kansas finished, I think it was 6th or 5th in the Big 12 in revenue, and they were 40th. And then you take away their 1 and 2 revenue teams, it's like, what the fuck does the Big 12 have to offer? And then you throw in that like you get paid, your conference makes a good amount of money if they go to a New Year's Six Bowl. They get paid a good amount of money if they go to the playoffs. Both those are thrown out the window. And it's almost like, you know, like so what'd they say? It was the 4 top teams and made the Power 5 conferences get the 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds with the 15-team playoff. It kind of makes sense that we're probably going to only have 4 major conferences now, though. So the 5th, it won't even matter about deciding between a 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be, I think it's going to have a lot to do with that. And then we move over. It's like, I think we're going to see major conferences. Like I think the ACC, like I said, I think they do add Notre Dame and West Virginia. And then to your point about Clemson, if Notre Dame joins, Clemson's not going anywhere. And I don't know, like I saw that thing about like they wanted to add Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson, and Florida State. It's like, dude, what's the point of having a football season if they have it's literally the SEC said that they wanted to add Clemson, Ohio State, Michigan, and Florida State. I know Michigan and Florida State blow, but like they still are money making machines. The other two are two of the top 5 teams, 10 teams in football every year. Then you put that with Oklahoma, Alabama, Georgia. Like there's no point of a playoff really. You should just play the SEC conference. But I don't think that would happen. But like Zach just sent that thing, and I'm going to read it off. So it would be Iowa State and Kansas joining the Big Ten, which Kansas already talked to the Big Ten, and they said that if they came, Iowa State would join them. I think that's a done deal. And then you would have the SEC obviously adding Oklahoma and Texas. Then the Pac-12 adds the 4 other Big 12 teams, so Texas Tech, Baylor, Kansas State, Oklahoma State. I don't think you have to do it regionally like they did it here, but like in terms of like dividing into 4 divisions, I think you can just do two divisions. But like I think that's what's going to happen. The only one that like might not happen is like, does Notre Dame actually join a conference? I don't know. I think they probably do, because I don't think that they would vote yes for a playoffs when they can never be a 1, 2, or 3, or 4 seed without thinking about that down the line. Like imagine Notre Dame going 12-0 and they beat Georgia. They play the year they play Alabama. They beat Alabama. They beat USC, and USC is good. Like they go 12-0, best schedule, should be number 1, and they're ranked 5th.
Yeah.
Just stupid. And the whole argument before that for Notre Dame was like their NBC contract paid more money. It's not even close now. Like these conferences, and if Notre Dame joined the ACC, it wouldn't even be close. Like they make like 15 to 20 million from NBC. ACC schools last year or 2 years ago made 30 million. You add Notre Dame to that, it's like 40, 45 million a piece. So it's like it's a no-brainer on that aspect.
And he got paid money last year for Notre Dame and Clemson both making the college football playoff.
Oh, the ACC would do it in a second. Like the ACC would do it in the snap of a finger. But it's all if Notre Dame wants to do it. Do they? I don't know. I just think like college football is changing now. Like it's not going to be what we remembered it. And like, could you imagine if Kansas and Iowa State joined the Big Ten? Iowa State helps them out with football a lot.
Yeah.
And then the Pac-12 picks up the scraps of the Big 12. SEC has all those teams. ACC adds West Virginia.
Well, I think, too, we're looking at the broad stream of just football. Like, it's going to align every other sport just so differently now, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
like,
Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC,
Basketball is going to be insane now, too.
Well, even baseball. Texas and Oklahoma have pretty good baseball teams, and SEC is really good at baseball already. It will, but it's like that's why West Virginia would be perfect for the ACC because basketball, they're good. Yeah. And then Kansas with basketball in the Big Ten would be insane.
Yeah.
But it's like, do you really want to be on the outside looking in of conferences now? Because it's not like what it used to be where there's just like so many different conferences split up. Like you can't be a number 1 seed without being in a conference. Like I think that is like the biggest red flag ever for that. This is talking about Notre Dame.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's just we're so used to what it's been for the last 26, 27 years of our life. And now you're seeing all these like switches and you're like, as a fan, you're just like, no, this sucks. Like this is stupid. But like when you look at it from a money value, you're like, yeah, I get why these teams want to do it. Like why these schools want to do it. It's just that like the fan of college football, it's going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
People don't like change is essentially what it gets to.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's
really what it is. Yeah.
Ryan, I know you don't think Notre Dame will join a conference. My only thing is like I don't think Jack Swarbrick votes yes on that. And they said he was one of the like top 3 main components of letting it through. Because if he would have said no, that it would have started like a lot of not the 15-team playoff, but the top 4 power conference champions are the top 4 seeds. Independents can never be one. They said he was one of the people to voice it yes. If Notre Dame would have voiced it no, that it would have been a big debacle and it would have been a lot harder to pass through. But that right there just tells me that like it's like imagine being the 5 seed and you have to play like the number 2 seed when you're the best team in the country.
I mean, that's
If they go to the 12, is it a 15-team playoff or a 12-team
Well,
playoff?
12, I meant 12. I keep saying
Okay.
15.
I
12.
keep getting confused. Okay, so they're going to shorten down the season then to what, 10, 11 games?
No.
Or is it still going to be a 12-team
it's still
season?
a 12-game season.
They're saying that they probably won't do conference championships.
So that, like the first week of conference championships, like
how
the
in
first
the world would you
playoff.
determine?
But I don't know how they're gonna. But that's what some people have said. But then, yeah, how do you like? What if Georgia and Alabama are both undefeated and they didn't play in the regular season? Like, yeah, so like it's gonna be the same amount of games. The only thing is like the 1 through 4 teams get a bye. So I guess in reality, the 1 through 4 will play the same amount of games as they do now. Well, no, one more, but
Yeah, I don't know. There's a price of being independent. They've always lost money being independent. Always. This isn't new.
No. Up until the Big Ten, up until 6 years ago, NBC was paying them way more than they would have made in any conference for a TV contract.
So there's a reason. The biggest reason, there's a few reasons why. One, Jack Swarbrick's he's not dumb. He's probably one of the smartest 80s in the country. Being independent, there have been multiple reports. Zach, why are you laughing?
Michael smirked and you said one of the smartest in the country.
Yeah, I don't think that one, but
so the reason why it's interesting because like they have that Irish Athletic. It's similar to like what the Longhorn, like Texas has their Longhorn Network.
it is not even close to similar.
Well, the difference is that Notre Dame's in the infancy stage still.
Longhorn Network is like its own. It's like an actual channel that you can buy across the country.
Correct. Well, Notre Dame just started theirs, so it's going to get to that point eventually.
No,
Sooner.
I mean maybe in like 5 or 10 years, but like it's not like Longhorn Network at all right now.
So the reason I don't know if you saw me tweet on that on the Irish Twitter account. There's this really long thread.
Yes.
So one of the things they brought up was the Irish Athletic television and how Notre Dame could eventually basically monopolize the football and basically kind of like Netflix or Hulu, whatever you want to call it.
Subscription?
Yeah, just basically subscribe to the football season, whether that's $50, $100, whatever it is. And that would basically make up what they would lose by joining a conference and then make more. You can't do that by joining a conference. And so, yeah, that's, and then
I mean, like if they join the Big Ten, their TV contracts would pay out like $45 million. You're telling me that Irish whatever would pay them $30 million?
Plus the NBC contract, yes.
No. 30 million on top of it.
They would not. They wouldn't bail on NBC. No,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they make 15 million a year from NBC. Okay, if they sign with the Big Ten, they would easily make 45 to 50 million a year.
They're not getting the Big Ten and NBC. You can only have one.
You're not understanding what I'm saying at all. Okay, they go to the Big Ten. They're not with NBC anymore. Correct. So they get a Big Ten TV contract. The Big Ten TV contract would pay them $45 to $50 million a year. Okay?
Yep.
NBC pays them right now $15 million, right?
Yep.
So you're telling me that this Irish, whatever it is, would make them $30 to $40 million?
Yeah, probably.
That no chance. You think that many people would subscribe? I mean, they're huge, but like that's like a lot of fucking subscriptions.
I think they would, yeah.
Oh, there's no chance. If that was the case, Texas could go on their own and do that with Longhorn Network, and they'd be making like almost $1 billion a year.
I don't know. See, this is the part I don't like. It's all about making money now.
Like, you like Notre Dame? That's all they've been about for the past 30 years.
I know. I have to like Notre Dame. I don't like that. Whether they make money or not, I can care less.
That's all they care about.
But I'm saying he's saying
That's
your,
why I don't-
your argument was they only care about money, but Notre Dame's only ever cared about money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
But-
you
but
you
they-
hate
You
your
guys
own
are
school.
kind of agreeing to this point.
We're
we're not
agreeing.
though, because I'm just saying you're like
They're like
you
they like to make money, but they don't like it that much because they know that they're missing out on money. So do they like it or they don't?
No, because just up till like recently is when these conference channels have paid this much. Like they had their contract, they signed a 10-year contract with NBC back when Kelly went to the first
When does that end?
in 2023 or 2024.
So you don't think when they re-signed NBC, like, yep, whatever you get from a conference, we'll match that.
No, I don't think that's a lot of money to pay, dude. You think these companies are just wheeling it out like that?
I don't think NBC is willing to
NBC
just pay out
would
45
out.
mil to broadcast Notre Dame.
45 mil? That's a
lot. That's a lot of money just to broadcast. What 12 games a year, and they don't even get all 12 games.
No,
they get like 10, 9
seven.
or 10.
Seven. Yeah. That's if they have a Shamrock series. If not, it's 6. Like,
yeah, that's a lot of money to pay out to a school. That's in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the money thing. They clearly do it, so something's
no, but you're not understanding what I'm saying. Is this whole
yes, I know the contract will end, and then they can just re-sign. They can sign with the conference. I understand what you're saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you're saying if they always cared about money, they would have left to go to a conference. It hasn't been until recently that these conferences have been making this much money, and they were in a 10-year contract with NBC. So they haven't really been able to explore the option.
You can buy out just like every other team's about to. Notre Dame clearly has a money to.
Yeah, but why not just wait? It's like 3-4 more years.
Why doesn't Texas Oklahoma just wait?
Because they want to join.
What do you mean? First off, we don't know if they are or not.
They're not going to. We all know that. They want to get out of there. Otherwise, they would have just waited.
No, it takes like a year and a half to get a proposal done and get it all
through. The SEC would have waited 2 years. They would have said, yeah, join now if they can.
I mean, I know Texas A&M, like you rip on Texas A&M, they're a top 5 money-making school. It took them 2 years for the transition to move over to the SEC. It doesn't just happen overnight.
If they buy out now, they'll be in there next year.
Well, that's the point of a buyout, so yes. Yeah,
so Notre Dame could buy out and they could be in the ACC next year if they want to.
They might have a no buyout clause in their NBC contract. Like NBC, Notre Dame getting $15 million from NBC, in my opinion, is actually a steal for NBC.
There's always a way out.
Yeah, but you could also just wait. It's like 2 years. We're talking about a TV, and the thing is like Notre Dame, if they leave next year or the year after or in 3 years, the Big Ten and ACC will still accept them no matter when.
Same thing for Texas and Oklahoma.
Okay. They have you think they're just
Zach, am I wrong? Zach, am I wrong?
No, but like Texas and Oklahoma, they don't want to wait.
Clearly, yeah, they don't want to wait.
Notre Dame is
waited till
Notre Dame, Notre Dame will. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They will wait. They will play their scheduled games. They will make it so they can still play the Stanford, Navy, and USC and all that until it comes to a point where it's like, okay, these contracts are up with the schedule. These contracts are up with the TV. It all falls in line. Like Texas and Oklahoma are already in a conference. It is a lot easier for someone who is already in a conference to be like, let's switch than a team. Because now I think they're going to, but Notre Dame's independent. That's like what they hold their fucking high horse on, even though like they can't win it all, but like they hold their high horse on them being an independent school. So if they do make the decision to go to a conference, it's not going to be something that just happens and be like, all right, let's do it. Like they're going to wait it out. I think they would wait until their NBC contract is over with. I do not think in a million years Notre Dame would ever just be like, we're done. I also think that they probably would do, like they would announce it, like this is our last year on NBC, blah, 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 do this. NBC would probably follow them around, do this huge thing. Like I don't think Texas and Oklahoma want to get out of the Big 12. Notre Dame might get into something, but it's not because they 100% want to. It's because they might have to with the way college football is going. That is the main difference in this. Oklahoma and Texas want to go. Notre Dame, they might just be forced to join because of these mega conferences, because of the new playoff format, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is where the disconnect is with me. I just like to watch football. Whether you get paid $1 or $1 billion, I don't really care.
But like
Whether
I said, you like
You
the
gotta
wrong
look at it
team
out of
for
the
that.
like perspective of
If you go 6-6 and you're a top 5 most paid out teams in the country, I could care less. You suck. That's it. Texas,
Yes,
I don't
but
care.
like
I mean,
I get
I'm not getting paid. No one here is getting paid. The only person that's getting paid is the coach and the AD, and they go 6-6. They can
and some players. Some
Yeah,
players are getting
but-
paid.
I mean,
But, like-
people care too much about. Oh, well, they get paid $45 million from their TV deal. Who cares?
the school, the
I know.
AD,
Oh, obviously they care.
everyone.
They care, but the fans don't care.
That's all that fucking matters because those are the ones who make the
Your team
decisions.
If your team goes 2-10, but they get paid $50 million a year, do you care? I know I wouldn't.
No, but I'm also not making the goddamn decision where it affects my pay or it affects the school, how much we make.
That's the thing. I just don't care how much they get paid.
What we're the
But that is-
conversation. is
what
supposed to
we
be
were
out of
saying
the
is that
perspective
is
of just
all-
being a fan.
That is all that matters, though. Like that is all that matters.
To them, yes, that probably is all that matters, which is sad. But I mean,
To be honest, that's their job. Your job is to make money.
Yeah, that's
You can't knock an AD or a coach for wanting to make money.
the coach's job isn't to make money.
if Notre Dame. if Notre
he's
Dame
supposed to work
said
for a job and make money.
if Notre Dame said fuck money, they would have won a national title in the last 25 years. No questions asked. I believe that wholeheartedly. If they said fuck money and we're not going to be our douchebags and like be so hardo on who we let in, it's such a prestigious school, blah blah blah, they would easily have won a national title in the last 25 years. And honestly, Texas has probably doesn't have the drop off either. If all the after they won the national title, a few years go by, they kind of nailed it in. They're kind of like the same thing. Now Notre Dame's been good, don't get me wrong, but like Texas kind of nailed it in. All they care about is money now too. So but both schools in the right scenario can win a national title because people want to go there. It is an easy school to make good. Notre Dame is in a great spot right now. They're a top 10 program. A lot of years top 5. Texas is not there, but they easily could get back there. So these money means everything because money means that new fucking football facility. Money means that Notre Dame has so much fucking money, we can sign a 5-star quarterback who wants an NIL agreement deal. That's why money fucking matters. Especially with the NIL, I think fans are going to start to care about money because it's going to do a lot for their teams because high school kids are greedy assholes. I mean, I would be if I was a 5-star recruit. So
yeah, I don't know.
You're picturing this as it's 1960, and I appreciate that. And I wish it was. I wish the conferences were like that. But money is the end all be all.
Money is king, and it always
yeah.
It always has been, but
No, I don't think it. I don't think it really.
From an entertainment standpoint and from an actual football standpoint, just go hit them in the mouth and go win the game.
But the big 10, 15 years ago, you didn't have all these news networks and channel stations to watch all these games. Back in the day, you only had NBC, ABC, CBS, few games to watch. Now you can watch you can literally watch every college football team across the country to some standpoint. And that's why now money gets brought involved with it because you can see everybody play.
It's when these kids come back for their 10-year anniversary, we only won 5 games, but thank God we brought the conference in $50 million. Oh man, feel so good.
Also these kids now 10 years from now are going to be making the Alabama.
Some of them will be. Yeah.
Saban just said his quarterback is getting near seven figures.
That is my point. My point is why fans better start to care about money because, you know what? Yeah, it will get you the better fucking player. So money means
the NIL stuff completely just changed.
What?
I don't know why that matters. They're not getting paid by the school.
But if you have a big fan base that A kid can go do an autograph signing session and get paid now.
Yeah, but they're not getting paid by the school.
But say you're a kid that wants to go to like Alabama or another school, you're gonna go to the school that's the donors are just gonna, hey, here's $100, sign this.
Trust me,
$200, sign this.
donors are not lacking money. I can guarantee you that.
I'm not saying
whether they get 25 million or whatever it is from NBC or 45 million from the Big Ten, they're not gonna. The difference in money from the donors is not going to change.
I know.
So it doesn't matter.
It still matters.
The only thing you'll see difference between Notre Dame if they join, if they get that extra 20 million or whatever it is how big their campus grows. That's where you'll see it.
I mean,
Truthfully, I think Notre Dame, if they join a conference, whether they go to the Big Ten or the ACC, it's going to help them because then you're going to be tied into playing these teams. Say they go to the Big Ten and you have an Ohio State matchup every single year. If there's a kid that wants to go to Notre Dame because Ohio State screwed him in terms of an offer, a kid's going to want to love to play them every single year.
And honestly, Notre Dame's rivals,
independent though, but I get what you're saying. But
Notre Dame's rivals don't really mean anything anymore. They don't play Michigan, USC, and Notre Dame. I don't think really many people consider rivals anymore. Like they play Navy, cool.
Well, it's only a rival if you split victories. Like Michigan and Ohio State's not a rival.
Yeah, but people hate each other.
It calls it a rival, but it's really not.
People from Michigan hate people from Ohio State. That is rivalry. People from USC
Notre Dame fans hate
fucking
USC
care.
fans. It's the same.
There aren't even USC fans. Like that's not a thing. So it doesn't matter. Like if Notre Dame played Michigan every year, it'd be like okay, because Notre Dame Michigan fans hate each other. Like Notre Dame's
that was a rivalry. Yeah,
but that's my point. The rivalry games don't mean really much anymore because like they don't play Michigan.
That's because USC sucks. Once USC gets good again, you won't be saying that.
They don't have fans. Yeah, but they
don't
play
They
USC.
Also don't play them on a yearly basis. Like
if they move on a yearly basis.
If they move conferences, they will not play USC on a yearly basis.
Yeah, they would. No, I think they would. I think that would be the one game that they always
kept. A stipulation they make.
That's not a stipulation. You can always play one. Like the SEC and ACC. Georgia Tech plays Georgia every year.
Yeah,
Florida plays Florida State every year. Like if Notre Dame went to a conference, USC would be the one game they kept because. Especially if they somehow went to the Big Ten, like they'd always have.
They always keep. Is it just USC and Stanford's now on the schedule every year? Isn't that the only two? Well,
Maybe. But that's my point. Like, do you really get real fired up for Stanford?
I hate playing Navy.
I don't like playing Navy either. But
they always get injured. They just get.
That's my point. Is like you can still keep USC on the schedule, and that's all that fucking matters. They play 6 ACC games already. Like. That game against Syracuse every 3 years.
At this point.
They should. Like, the whole playoff thing is my biggest thing. Money here, money there, whatever. Like, they would make more. And, like, whether you think that means something or not, it means a lot to the people who are making these decisions.
Yeah, it means to them a lot. But...
And that's the only fucking people who matter. So,
right.
I mean, that's all that matters. Like,
but it's just weird how all of a sudden in 2021, it's a big deal. It's like, oh, but they can make $15 million.
It's
this 3 years ago or whenever. You can name a year.
You don't listen. I just told you all these schools just signed these huge contracts lately, within the past 5 to 10 years. The Big Ten network came out. It was like 11 years ago, and that is why the Big Ten schools make so much money. Is literally the Big Ten network.
That's why they signed Rutgers a few years back because Rutgers added in
the East.
Oklahoma needs to go.
The East Coast. They're not leaving Texas. So like that's why is because it just came around. 15 years ago, the Big Ten network wasn't even a fucking thing. That's why it wasn't a.
That's why they got Rutgers and Maryland. That they added them because it added the whole East Coast for them.
And the biggest thing is like conferences are like mean more now, honestly, because of how like they're going to be super conferences now. So it's like Notre Dame can go in the ACC also. Like, I do think this would be a factor that they look at. Genius Jack Swarbrick, like, hey, we can go to the ACC, and, like, if we don't play Clemson, like, we easily could go undefeated. And if we do play Clemson, We
We'll
go
be
11-1,
Still go to the playoff.
10-2. Like we still probably go to the playoff. We play our regular schedule, and we still have the Ohio States, Alabamas. Like you said, if USC does get good, like you have these schedules. It's way tougher schedule. Like, and you could be average now and make the playoffs with 12 teams. Like there's a lot of times Notre Dame has finished 11th or 12th.
See, that's the thing. Like, if they say independent, you go 10-2, you're making the playoff.
Ooh, I disagree.
And a 4-team?
No, a 12 team. I disagree.
It depends on your losses. I don't know.
Like they would give a 9-3. They'd give a 9-3 Texas in the SEC over a 10-2 independent Notre Dame every day of the week.
Depends on who your losses are. Like Zach said.
No, I think at that point.
What if Texas lost to Alabama, LSU, and Auburn all by 20+ points?
Doesn't matter.
No sense.
Well, they would have to play Oklahoma. No, I think the committee will be like, look, this is your chance to fucking join. Like, join a conference. You have to go 11-1 or be 10-2 and beat really good teams. Like I don't know if you think this, but like not being able to be the number 1 overall seed, I think is a ginormous thing.
I don't think it's as big of a deal. No.
You have to play one extra game.
No, you
don't. Get a wait.
They're playing a conference championship. It's the same amount.
Okay, it's a way better team, though.
If they would have played a 12 team this year, they'd have played Coastal Carolina and South Bend. You think that's a way better team?
Would they play the 12 seed?
They were the 4th, so yeah, whatever. Well, they would have had the bye, technically. Let's say it would have been the 5th.
They couldn't be the 4th.
Coastal Carolina.
I don't remember the rankings.
I don't think in a normal year they'll rank those teams like that, though. I get what you're saying. Yeah, last year in reality, yes, but like
I'll take Notre Dame 12 versus 5 and South Bend 99 times out of 100.
Over what though? Over the one who's playing?
No, I'm talking about 5 versus 12.
I know, but I'm saying.
And then Notre Dame would play 5 versus 4. They wouldn't play 1.
No, they wouldn't.
The number 1 seed would not play the highest remaining seed.
Brian, if you have 12 teams, you wouldn't go to the 4 seed. So you're saying that the 4 seed has a bye.
Correct.
1 through 4 have a bye, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep. So if the 5 seed wins, who are they playing?
3. I don't know. I'd honestly have to look at a schedule
It would be
a bracket.
It's like the 9 versus 8 or whatever you want to call it.
So it'd be 12-5, 6-11, 7-10, 8-9.
Yeah. And then 5 would play 4. The number 1 seed would play the highest remaining seed possible. Right?
Yeah, but it's say like
so if the 12 seed beat the 5th seed, then 1 would play 12.
Yeah.
No.
So you're saying Notre Dame's a 12 seed? I'm confused.
Wait. How could 4 play 5 but 12 play 1?
I'm saying here's where I'm at.
My brain hurts.
You're right. 4 would play 5. You were correct, but
So
1 would not play 12 if 12 won.
Who would they play? Isn't that the whole point of ranking?
They play 4. No, you put them in their little bracket.
Well, you're saying 12 beats 5, so then yes, 12 would play 1.
Yeah.
No, you don't realign the next week. You play the bracket.
Then there's a bracket. Then yeah, I thought you just played through the remaining.
No, like 1 plays the winner of 8-9, 4 plays the winner of 5-12. So like if the 12 wins, like yeah, then like 4 has like a cakewalk maybe to the Final Four. But like they don't realign. This isn't the NHL playoffs.
Yeah, I was confused on what was going. That's why my brain was hurting.
I thought it would just been similar to the. I don't know. Never mind. I'm wrong.
Like you were right originally, and then your second one, I was like, wait. I went back.
I don't technically. So let's just say the 2020 season there was a 12-team playoff. Playing Coastal Carolina in December in South Bend is very appealing. That
game is full.
There are selling points to having the first round bye. But then what if Notre Dame loses in the ACC or Big Ten, whatever conference you want to put them in, the championship game, and that takes them out? Or they can
if they're the 5 seed, they wouldn't drop from 5 to 13 in a conference championship.
Well, it doesn't. Okay, what if it's a 9-8 game or whatever it is? Let's just say they're in the playoff, but then they're not after one game.
Yeah, but that's not my argument at all. My argument is them being the 5 seed and being undefeated and being the best team in football.
What if that one loss put them at 10-3?
You're arguing different things now. My argument is if they are undefeated and the number 1 team in the country, they would be the 5 seed. That is all my argument.
Yep.
Not if they were, first off, if they're 10-2, 9-3, they probably aren't playing in a conference championship game. Okay? So that's my argument isn't anything of what you're saying.
I'm getting confused and I'm not even talking.
Okay, Zach, this is my argument.
So Zach,
if they're the 5 seed and they're undefeated, you right?
There's so many different scenarios keep getting.
No, he just keeps throwing in these different records, and I'm like, that's not what I'm talking about.
Zach, I'm just like stirring the pot, and
but you're not.
I'm just like trying to listen to your guys' conversation. It's like
what you're saying has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
9-3, 10-2, undefeated.
The bottom.
No. I have said one record the entire time, undefeated. That is all I've said, undefeated.
Holy shit.
That is the only way they could ever be the 1 seed, right? If they were somehow undefeated, correct?
Yeah,
but in this scenario, if they were undefeated, they would drop to the 5 seed.
5 seed.
I don't fucking care about a 10-3 season because they wouldn't be the 1 seed anyways. That is not my argument.
Yes. Okay. Yep. Picking up what you're putting down.
Okay, that is my whole point. Like, yes, if they were 10-2 and somehow made the Big Ten championship and they were the 8 seed going in and they got beat and somehow dropped to 13, that would suck. I wholeheartedly agree with you on that one. My thing is like if they're 12-0, let's say Clemson's quarterback got hurt that year and they went to the ACC championship, they won it, and they're the 1 seed, not the 5 seed. Because to get to the Final Four, they would have to play an 8 and 9 team, not the number 4 seed. That is my whole point. And last year, yes,
we could play a million different scenarios. I know that you're only picking one specific one with the undefeated, but it's the same thing with BCS. Notre Dame, they're not going to take Notre Dame as 12-0 over an undefeated 13-0 SEC and an undefeated 13-0 Big Ten. Right?
That is why I'm saying you join a conference and they
20 years ago.
I'm done having this conversation. You haven't listened to anything I've said this entire fucking time.
What you're saying. I just don't think
the BCS back in the day was butthole.
I mean, like,
honestly, I think I kind of like it more than the playoff, to be honest, because
I would rather have the BCS pick the 12 teams than these dumbos that they have in a room, though. I'll say that one.
Well, also the 12 people they choose to pick these rankings are like the most random 12 people in the world.
No disrespect to women, but why the fuck is Condoleezza Rice picking what 12 teams make the playoffs?
Yeah. Well, I also think it's weird that ADs get to pick because,
that's stupid too.
There's biasing.
And it's
because somehow every year the Big Ten has the most
conference bias as well.
100%. As I was just about to say, it's such conference bias. The Big Ten somehow every year has the most teams or most represented people in that room.
Who are the 12 representatives this year? Look.
Does it change every year, or is it like a 2-year contract?
Yeah, they get like a few new ones every year.
All I remember is like one of them was like he was a former player, but he's like does nothing now. So it's like, why the fuck is he picking the 12 teams? But all right, let's wrap it up. All right, Zach, you can finish it off with you say anything about Aaron Rodgers that you want to, and then we'll wrap it up.
As a Bears fan, he's had this whole speculation all year that he's not playing. He's not playing. And then, we're getting here close to training camp. He's restructuring a deal basically to like forego his 2023 season and this be his last season as a Packer. And he's restructuring his contract. Now Devontae Adams is back in negotiations to get a long-term deal. And just bottom line, I hate Aaron Rodgers. Hell of a quarterback, but I hate him. That's all I got to say.
All right. That's the episode. Check out Irish Insight. You guys are recording tomorrow or Wednesday or?
Yeah, sometime this week. Yep.
All right. Episode will be out this week. Check that out. And then in 2 weeks, they'll have our first fantasy football episode. All right. Peace.
See ya.